To the best on Long Island go head-to-head. It's the second game of the Lehigh Invitational. Bayshore and Westbury next on News 12 Varsity. Well, hi again, everyone. Welcome to Long Island Lutheran High School. Matt Shortis and Dylan Butler. Westbury and Bayshore, two teams that have won 8 consecutive games, and a game today that a lot of people have billed as a potential Long Island Championship preview.
Yeah, look, both of these teams playing some great basketball, and really excited to see these teams in person. I saw Bayshore earlier this year, had a tough loss at home to Hills East. They certainly rebounded in a big way, and Westbury. When you beat Baldwin, you open eyes on Long Island. That's just what Westbury did.
Bayshore there, led by the Twins, and Angel Rivera among the best of them.
Yeah, Angel Rivera is such a terrific three-point shooter. He also gets the basket really well, finishes around the rim, very sweet, soft touch as well, and makes his free throws. When he and his brother get going, it's a terrific 1-2 combination, without a doubt.
And every couple of years, you get a guy who feels like he's been around forever. For Westbury, Jonathan Dean is that guy.
Yeah, he has been around for a very long time, and he also does a lot of things well for Westbury. This is a guy that he will score, he will drive to the basket, he'll get rebounds, he's got assists. He is Long Island's stat sheet stuffer, without a doubt.
So Westbury and Bayshore, again, the potential Long Island Championship preview. It's coming up from Long Island Lutheran next on News 12 Varsity.
Who will rise higher? Dunk harder and go farther. The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
Welcome back to Long Island Lutheran High School. Matt Shortis and Dylan Butler with you as we get ready to start second game of the Lehigh Invitational. Bayshore 13-2, coached by C.J. Leary, a Bayshore graduate, class of 2003. Actually played lacrosse in college. Played at Dowling. Second year as head man. He was JV head coach before that. Starting lineup for Bayshore, it'll be Darian Walcott, the two Rivera twins, Jose and Angel Rivera, Anthony Simpson, as well as Levon Montgomery. And Westbury, the Green Dragons, 12-1 on the season. Last year, it was a championship game appearance for Westbury. And they're coached by Dave Graft, a Martin Van Buren graduate, 12th year as head coach. Won a Long Island Championship in 2010 in Class A, and he played collegiately at Adelphi. Starting five for Westbury is Jalen Dunlap, Brendan Otley, Michael Bethia, Khalid Ketchen, and Darius Young, who was the Conference Player of the Year last year for Westbury. As I talked about in the open, both teams have won 8 consecutive games. Westbury's only loss was 2 days after Christmas in the Chaminade tournament to Floral Park. And Bayshore, they have won 8 straight since losing to Baldwin just before the start of the new year, including avenging one of their earlier season losses to Hills East earlier this week.
Yeah, and again, Baldwin is that common opponent that you don't normally see these two teams play the same team, but that is the common opponent. Bayshore with that tight loss at Baldwin during their Christmas tournament, and Westbury with that big win over Baldwin this past week. That catapulted them up in our Long Island power rankings and really kind of solidified them as a true contender. Another contender is Uniondale, and their head coach Tommy Diana here to scout. You see him walking by the DJ now, so he's here. He's got there he is. He's got his scouting material ready to go.
Take notes.
Yeah.
So Westbury will be in the home whites with the white numbers as well, outlined in green, and Bayshore the road maroon uniforms. And out of bounds, knocked away right away by Jose Rivera. This is Anthony Simpson, averaging 4.5 points per game, second-year starter for this Bayshore team, a Marauders club that is very senior-heavy. Left side, this is Montgomery. Simpson, long 2, it banks in. Oh, Anthony Simpson, the first shot of the game, is netted. Here's Darius Young, big body. Khalid Ketchin outside. It comes for Dean, who will try a 3. In and out, tipped up and back in, though, by Westbury's Isaiah Bien-Azeh. Not but 2. Here's Darian Walcott for Bayshore. Right side, corner 3. High bouncer off the window. And Westbury will have it. Bien-Azeh. Now to Dean. Dean gets his own rebound, back up with it. Sent away by Angel Rivera, but a foul.
Dean so strong and so tenacious on the boards, which I think makes him really kind of a matchup problem, right? Because he's got the size and strength to go inside with the bigs, but he's also got really good guard skills as well.
Listed at 6 feet. Averaging just under 15 points per contest. Newsday top 50 player from a year ago, and you talk about that size, that strength, that sort of mismatch, and because of his experience as well, he's got a little old man at the YMCA in his game because he can outsmart you as well.
I like it.
That cunning.
I like that.
Rivera down low in the corner for Montgomery. Back up top, it comes for Simpson. 10 on the shot clock. Walcott will try a 3 off the heel. Long rebound. Chased down by Simpson. His defender leaves him in the backcourt. Montgomery driving on the baseline. Out of bounds off of Westbury. Two minutes into this one. 3-2. Westbury leading. Mid-range jumper for Rivera. No good, and skying for the board is Brendan Otley. He coughs it up. One Rivera to another, and it's Angel finishing. 4-3, flicked up and in by Darius Young. A transition game coming in for Westbury. That's off a made basket, no less. Right side, corner 3 for Jose Rivera. Short on the iron, offensive board, and a foul against Westbury. So Bayshore, I wouldn't say they have a size advantage, but they are, at least for the first 2.5 minutes, controlling things inside, led by Jose and Angel Rivera.
Yeah, what they do have, I think, is Bayshore might be a little bit, as a team, longer, but I think Westbury is certainly a thicker team.
Tied up at 5 on 1 of 2 free throws from Levon Montgomery. 2.5 minutes gone by. Right side, that'll be Bien-Azeh for a 3. Well strong. It's Rivera's got it. He kicks it out to his brother Angel. Moving up court is Simpson. He'll stop on a dime, pull up. No good. Hits the top of the backboard, out of bounds. And Westbury will have it.
You know, the shot didn't drop for Simpson, but I love the idea there, the pull-up jumper. Doesn't try to force anything to the basket if it's not there, and it's not used enough, I think, in today's game, that pull-up.
Young will spot up for 3. Dean finding Young. And that's the combo that works so well time and again for Westbury. There's Simpson, a pure point guard. Right side, good strong move by Jose Rivera.
He goes high off the glass, does Angel.
Batted away, turnover, Bayshore's got it. Kick ahead for Simpson. Simpson surveys, Scoots it back. Here's Jose Rivera for three. Big long rebound off the back heel. It's Montgomery for Bayshore. Montgomery reverse won't go. Rivera again's got it. Down, out to Angel. Missing, nothing. And Jose is there for the putback. It'll rattle in.
And that's all about positioning and wanting it. And that certainly was the situation there for Rivera. What, 2 or 3 offensive rebounds in that set?
Both brothers were all county performers in track and field in jumping categories as Otley knocks down the knocks down the shot. For Jose, he was the high jumper. Angel Rivera, triple jumper. And that was Jose take it down on his way to the cup. Pretty valuable skill set to have.
Oh, yeah.
On the basketball court.
And you already have that feeling just a few minutes into this one, already that intensity so much higher than we saw at the start of the last game. Mind you, of course, it is a later start.
Walcott will try a three. That won't go. Elmont and Hills East were just sluggish out of the game. Here's Otley knifing to the cup, and he is fouled. And that's going to be Angel Rivera's second personal foul. And Kyrie Sawyer is going to come in his place. Westbury finding Darius Young. Right side, Otley. Up top, Ketchin. Bianace, lefty, scoop will go. 12-9, Westbury advantage. 3 minutes left in the first. Fake for Jose Rivera, and Bayshore will throw it away. A little miscommunication between Sawyer and Simpson.
Yeah, BNASA really such a impressive athlete. I mean, you could just tell by looking at him, and that was a really good-looking lefty layup.
Here's Ketchin. Guys, defender to fall down, and Rivera. Otley stops, picks up the dribble. Pull up for BNAC. So he went inside, and now he goes outside. And he's got 7 for Westbury. Left side, this is Simpson. That'll be Rivera, try a three, answers. And Rivera's got 7. Runner in the middle of the lane, off the iron. Dean battling for the rebound. It's taken by Montgomery for Bayshore. Montgomery with haste over the timeline. Right side, corner 3 for Walcott, in and out. And for the first time in a few moments, Westbury will slow it down. Now they drive. Otley is fouled. Darian Walcott on the personal. Our officiating crew this afternoon, it's Bob Sorosky, the head man, Mario Espinosa, and Arnie Wendt. Lobbed underneath for Dean. A little trouble with it. And a turnover as Rivera forces the steal.
Yeah, forced it inside when it wasn't there.
Knocked away, out of bounds by Otley.
In the game for Westbury is number 4, Jalen Dunlap.
Jalen Dunlap coming in. Dean will go out. Dunlap has started at times this year, averaging just under 9 points per contest. That gives a little scoring punch off the bench.
Whoa.
And a travel.
Westbury ball.
That was one of those that it wasn't super clear, but you kind of just knew it.
Hey, like something doesn't look right on this play.
Young will try a three. Nothing but net. Darius Young with a team high 8.
Oh, and Young knew it as soon as it left his hands, put the signal up for the three.
Largest lead of the game for Westbury is 6 at 18-12. Left side, this is Simpson. Up top, Walcott. Back on a bounce to Simpson it comes. He drives on the baseline. It's Rivera in the right side. Rivera absorbing some contact. Shot is a little too strong. And a battle for it down low. A jump ball will go to Bayshore.
There'll be a slight difference between the shot and the game clock. Timeout for Bayshore.
30-second timeout.
And you can see that how valuable just each possession is now. This clearly a timeout now to set up what is likely going to be the final possession of the first half. 0.6 seconds separates the shot from the game clock.
Well, this Bayshore team, a lot of people around Long Island and Suffolk expected them to contend coming into this season, due in large part because of what they returned from last year. 10 players that were varsity players returning from last year, 9 juniors that are now seniors, and they are perhaps the most senior-laden team top to bottom of their roster in Suffolk, if not Long Island.
Yeah, I think that's fair, you know, because I think Brentwood, much younger team this year. Hills East, who we just saw, they've got some quality juniors. So Savion Lewis is a player certainly who's been around, yeah, I think that's a fair statement to make.
I come back, as Dylan mentioned, just 0.6 of a second differentiate the shot clock and the game clock. Simpson on the right side, into the paint, kicked back out, thrown away. Westbury's got an open look at it. Otley lays it in.
Brandon Otley.
So not how Bayshore wanted to come out of a timeout. They can hold for the final shot if they choose. 10 seconds to play in the first quarter. Jab step for Simpson. He'll try a three. That's short. Free throw line jumper at the buzzer. Rattles in. Darian Walcott saves the possession for Bayshore. But Westbury has a 6-point lead after one. It's 20-14. Green Dragons on top.
The love, yeah, it's in our souls. The passion, it's in the cheers. And in that pivotal moment, we live and die with every pass, block, steal, and game-winning dunk. And we wouldn't want it any other way. Don't miss a minute. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
High-scoring first quarter sees Westbury on top 20-14 as we start the second. Darius Young inbounding in front of us, leading all scorers with 8 at the moment. That'll be a three rattling out to start it off, but Westbury had it for a moment, lost it as Walcott recovers for Bayshore. Walcott, a second-year player. Last year was the 6th man. His shot finds its way into the hands of Darius Young on the rebound. Young with some speed, veers to his right. Regains control at center court. Here's Dean back into the game. A lot of contact. Play continues. Walcott has the loose ball for Bayshore. A little hesitation down low. Montgomery going up with it. Count the bucket and one.
Nice pump fake inside to draw the contact. Strong finish as well.
First personal foul against Jonathan Dean. And the free throw is no good for Montgomery. Here's Darius Young. Young right side, no good. Long rebound. It's Sawyer in stride. Sawyer might have gotten away with a step. There's Brendan Otley now. Otley, little scoop shot, won't go. Back and forth we go. Jose Rivera, offensive foul on a player control.
That's a great call because he lowered the shoulder. And that's all Darius Young needed to see.
Minute gone in the second quarter. 4-point advantage for Westbury. BNAC will try a three. He's already hit one today. Loose ball foul on Darius Young. Just the third team foul against Westbury. Sawyer. Into the corner it goes, canned by Walcott.
Yeah, that's a sweet spot for Walcott from that corner and knocks it down to pull Bayshore within one.
Bayshore's taking a lot of corner threes, not a bunch have gone on. Rivera got a piece of that. Sawyer to the left side, it comes for Simpson. On the drive, it's Montgomery, and he's fouled.
Well, we've seen two different ways Montgomery attempted a three-point play. The first, inside, and then this time, the strong drive to the basket. Timeout, Westbury.
30-second timeout for Westbury.
So Bayshore has started the quarter on a 7-0 run. First time they're playing in this invitational. John Buck approached C.J. Leary asking if they'd like to play, and he said he expressed some concern because they had played Baldwin earlier in the year, so he didn't want to be paired up with Baldwin. And John Buck told him not to worry about it. Westbury came out, and they're here. And that's one of the, I think, more endearing things about the basketball teams around Long Island, is that there's no unbeaten teams on the island right now because everybody will play each other.
Yeah.
And there's no clear-cut favorite for an LIC this year either.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, you know, you look at Westbury and Nassau County, you add, of course, Baldwin, Uniondale.
But Massapequa to that mix. They were co-conference champs last year, returned a fair amount.
And then Bayshore, we saw Hills East earlier. You can never, of course, count out Anthony Jimenez's Indians of Brentwood.
Hills West as well. Montgomery misses on the free throw. And Westbury is still looking for their first points of the quarter, ripped away by Montgomery. Sawyer's got it, turnaround jumper. That won't go. And a loose ball foul against Bayshore. So Montgomery, a guilty party. Up the near sideline, Young blew a tire and traveled.
Yeah, he tried to draw the foul by raising his head up, but then after that, he kind of got out of control and resulted in the turnover.
Closing in on 3 minutes gone in the second quarter. Ball being batted around, tipped up, out to Sawyer it comes. Montgomery's got it right side of the lane. Montgomery will put it off the square and in.
How good has he been in this quarter, huh?
Well, he averages 8.5 points per game. He's already got 7, with 5 of them coming in the quarter. And Dean gets it on the left blocks. Tries to pass inside to Ketchin. That gets knocked away. Westbury had a slow start to the first quarter, finished that quarter on a 12-4 advantage. trying to save it, unable to do so. To the hands of Simpson. Simpson now Montgomery underneath, reverse, falls off the front of the iron. But Montgomery staying so tenacious. Right side corner for Rivera, three-pointer won't go. And Westbury's going to slow it down as Darius Young and his team still looking for their first points of the quarter. Into the lane, no. Dean had a chance at the board, taken away by Simpson. Simpson ahead of the pack to Sawyer. Sawyer puts it in.
And that was a good little hesitation as well by Sawyer to got some oohs and ahs from the crowd, and now the lead up to 5.
An 11-0 run to start the quarter for Bayshore. Darius Young, three-pointer off the mark. Rivera was calling for it as he broke out the other end of the court. Sawyer, that'll be a three for Simpson, in and out. We're 4.5 minutes into the second quarter. Westbury still hasn't scored. Otley lost his step. And a timeout. Westbury getting it off just in time was Dave Kraft on the sideline. So of some concern for the Green Dragons. That's the second time already that we've seen somebody go down and on a misstep. We talked about the expectations preseason for Westbury. Dave Graff said, our expectation is we should be one of several teams who can win the county. I don't think we're better than anybody else, but if we play up to our capabilities, we have just as good a shot as anybody else to win the county title. Probably a little modest, but also an accurate description of his team as well.
Yeah, I think so. You don't want to be bold and make wild statements, but absolutely, the Green Dragons are right there among the best teams in Nassau County. There is no doubt about it.
They come out of Conference AA2 with Baldwin, of course. And now Uniondale on top in Conference AA1. Syosset off to a pretty good start this season as well, 12-2.
I'll tell you, I think a Uniondale-Westbury playoff matchup would be very much worth the price of admission.
Right side is Young on a three out of the timeout. A much needed basket for Westbury, and Darius Young's got 11 of the 23 for the Green Dragons.
Yeah, when you need a basket like that, that's the guy that you go to. His experience, and so dangerous from the perimeter.
And while Angel Rivera has been out much of this game with the 2 fouls, Jose Rivera moving in with 9 points. Dean will try a three off the front of the iron. 27-23 the advantage. Under 3 to play in this first half. Simpson stepped on the end line.
Westbury ball.
Bayshore showing a little pressure. There's a drive, and Jalen Dunlap is fouled on his way to the basket.
Good response by Westbury after that strong start of the second quarter for Bayshore.
That is his second team.
So Jalen Dunlap, who had been quiet so far today, and has started at points this year.
In the game, 4.
Dave Graff says he's a guy that really feeds well off the attention that Darius Young gets on the defensive side. So somebody's got to get freed up when so much of the attention goes on to Young, and Dunlap does well with that. Hitting a pair, and it's a 2-point game, 27-25. Scoring tempo has slowed down considerably since the first quarter, where we had 34 combined points. Kyrie Sawyer. Up top for Rivera, got his defender up in the air. And they're gonna say that Dean held him as he started to drive towards the basket.
And that's his second. He will take a seat on the bench.
And that'll bring in Talon Hill, a senior guard. Westbury is not a team that goes very deep into their bench. Montgomery, that shot falling off the front of the iron. Ketchin's got the rebound. Dunlap a little hesitation. Otley, three-pointer, no good. Offensive board for the Green Dragons. Dunlap will pull it out into the corner, though he's double-teamed, finding Young. Young skips it ahead. And going up for that one is Otley on the pass. Right side, fall-away three-pointer off the side of the backboard. Bayshore pushing. Sawyer, corner three again. This time it's short. Bayshore loves those corner three opportunities when they could get them, especially in transition. Ketchin trying to post up, fouled as he was grabbed by Montgomery. That should be the 7th foul against Bayshore, and I believe that'll put Westbury in the bonus. So that will put Khalid Ketchin to the line.
They're double checking. I think might be a discrepancy in the two books.
Well, it got announced as Michael Bethia on the foul, but being that he's 20 on Westbury and not 20 on Bayshore.
That would not be a good teammate.
No. So they're all straightened out now, and Ketchin will go to the line. Second-year starter missing on the first free throw. Bayshore trying to extend the lead before the half comes to a close. Montgomery's had a very strong first half, so too has Jose Rivera. Knifing his way into the lane on a curl. Haskins short on his shot. Under a minute to play. Trying to find Ketchin, knocked away. Montgomery giving chase, and it'll be Westbury ball.
I'd say I've been very impressed with Montgomery on both sides of the basketball. Long, athletic, great motor.
Transferred last year to Bayshore from Far Rockaway. And Bayshore happy to have him. Tough shot. Dunlap got blocked on the way up. Shot clock is off with 31 seconds remaining in the half. Here's Sawyer with some speed. He's fouled.
Yeah, Sawyer did a good job of protecting the ball. Looked like a football running back there for a moment where he tucked it down and protected it. They will inbound, though, underneath, not a shooting foul.
Sawyer will inbound. Offensive foul on the inbound, and that will go against Montgomery. That's going to be his third.
Yeah, it's his third. They announced it as his second. It is his third. He will have to take a seat.
That'll bring in Kendrim Shala for Bayshore. Westbury looking to hold for one and a chance to tie before the half comes to a close. As Otley will wing it across. Underneath, Bayshore takes it away. Rivera's got it. Final 4 to go. Sawyer driving to the basket. Sawyer shot, no. And the horn sounds on the first half. Westbury scores just 5 points in the second quarter after a 20-point first quarter performance and find themselves trailing by 2 at halftime.
who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther. The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
Two-point game as we start the third quarter, 27-25. Bayshore leading Westbury. And I'm sure CJ Leary happy to have Angel Rivera back out on the floor. Limited in the first half with 2 personal fouls, and a foul off ball is going to go against Bayshore.
No, it's not. I was
Savion
wondering.
Haskins, the guilty party. Though perhaps he was holding his breath for a moment.
I've seen a little bit of ball pressure now for Bayshore.
Otley finding Ketchin. Ketchin trying to get rid of it, throw it up high and out of bounds.
I want to say one of those beautiful banners here at Lou High.
They renovated the gym.
Yeah.
Still has its real character that it had. But the bleachers got cleaned up, refinished. A little paint, some new mats, new banners. Couple turnovers from both sides. First 30 seconds of this third quarter. Game number 2 of 3 today. The first one saw Hills East defeat Elmont. We have this one, and then Lou High, the host school, will take on the Warriors of Curtis out of Staten Island in the PSAL in game number 3. And an offensive foul down the other way on Brendan Otley.
Interesting, the ebbs and flows of this game. First quarter was just such an explosive, high-scoring quarter. 34 combined points. Westbury with a 20-14 lead. Then things got really slowed down in that second quarter, and actually it's even slower now to start the third.
Simpson moving it into the paint for Angel Rivera. Missed a shot. It's John Dean coming up with it. Lobbed up top, overthrowing Bianesi. So Westbury had a slow start to the second quarter. They scored just 5 points, all 5 of which came in the last 2.5 minutes. And have turned the ball over 3 times already in the first minute. Here's Simpson moving to the top of the key and firing a jumper, then goes in. First points to the third for either team. There's Brendan Otley, right side. That'll be a 3-pointer that's short for Young. A turnover, Westbury gets it back. Ketchin trying to split the defenders, and he traveled.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain too much if I was Ketchins, because your other option there was an offensive foul, so I think you'll take the travel.
Anthony Simpson up top for Rivera, lost it. Bayshore recovers, Haskins on the baseline. Shot is no good. Out it comes for Young. Darius Young with some defenders on him, a little too strong. 3-on-2, ball tipped up, taken. Rivera across to his brother, and it's Jose who lays it in. Jose Rivera's got 11 points, the leading scorer on this team at 18.5 points per game.
There's such an understanding, Matt, sorry, between the twins, of course, and they play so well together.
And you see that regardless of sport. I mean, siblings at any level tend to have that extra chemistry just from growing up playing together. But when you're twins, there seems to be this mental connectivity as well that that even supersedes just coming up and playing throughout your childhood and living together and all that.
You sound like an authority on that.
At the moment, we'll see how it develops. I have 4-year-old twin sons. That's amazing, though. So I always like to ask coaches, you know, when somebody's a twin, you know, identical fraternal, and then if they're identical, if they are able to tell them apart. And I mean, you see the resemblance, obviously, between the two brothers. And most times, more often than not, coaches will say, when they have their jerseys on, I've had coaches tell me, well, so-and-so has their lacrosse stick stung with yellow string.
You
And
look
so-
for
yeah.
something.
But if you're around them, it's just, you can't describe it, it's just intuitive.
Yep.
Right side, this will be Jose Rivera. We'll miss that. Westbury with some numbers. Pull up from the left elbow. Off the mark, and a loose ball foul on Darius Young.
Yeah, he went over the back, fouling Darian Walcott.
So Westbury, for the scoring punch that they have, and two of the top scorers on Long Island, and Darius Young and Jonathan Dean, they've now gone long stretches in this game without a field goal. There's Angel Rivera, tough shot. It'll roll out, but he's fouled.
And if it's the start of these quarters that have really been troublesome for Westbury. The start of the second quarter and the start of the third quarter, it's taking them some time to get points on the board.
Well, Angel Rivera, the third-year starter, was all-league last year as a sophomore. And again, was limited in that first half. He had 2 quick fouls in the game, and he did not come back in the rest of the half. Part of it was the way that Bayshore began the second quarter. C.J. Leary didn't feel rushed to get him back into the game. Rivera last year was the team's leading scorer with 17 points per contest. They've had him play a little bit more in the high post area, be more of a passer. And C.J. Leary says he's sacrificed his game on a personal level to put the team first. Missing both free throws, still a 6-point lead for Bayshore at 31-25. Darius Young on the baseline for Dean, and Westbury just not getting any kind of luck right now.
When they're doing the right thing, they're getting to the basket, but
Three-pointer, no good. Tipped by Rivera. Chase forward. It's Young who comes away with it. 3-on-2 for Westbury. Young, Euro step, scoop shot, falls off the front of the iron.
that's the way it's going right now for the Green Dragons.
That one hung up for a while. Catch and shoot three for Jose Rivera. Rattles in. Jose Rivera with 14 and the largest lead of the game for Bayshore at 34-25.
Yeah, the Green Dragons, they just have to keep going to the hole, but there's another turnover.
Here's Angel in transition, short. Gets his own rebound, a couple dribbles, throws it back up, and he's fouled on a hook shot.
It's that jumping ability that you mentioned earlier and the tenacity inside that every ball is one that he feels he can win.
Started to mention it a moment ago, last year he was much more of a perimeter player. And then this year being asked to play inside, which was never really his game and he had never really done. So there was a learning curve for sure as he misses on the second. Bayshore an even 10-point advantage, 35-25, past the midway portion of the third quarter. There's Dean, some contact on the way up. Jose Rivera, the guilty party.
Tell you, I love the intensity that C.J. Leary is coaching with. I mean, he's up there. He's clapping his hands. He looks like he's playing defense.
I mean, he talked about getting this program back to where it should be and back to where it had been as Dean nets a free throw. And he also teaches at Farmingdale, so we've got some high-level programs over there with some pretty intense coaches as well. He's been all around as a coach. He was a grad assistant at Malloy as a lacrosse player, lacrosse coach. So he's worked at different levels, different sports, and he himself was an ex-college athlete as well. So Bayshore takes a timeout. And they talked about this stretch, Bayshore that is, being so key for them. The Hills East game, obviously, and he said if we win the next 2 games, they're in the driver's seat for the league championship and #1 seed in the county tournament, and that is what's pushing them and driving them this latter part of the season.
It's certainly there for them, right? You'd say that, especially the bounce back win, and to do it. Look, I was there late December, and they had that game against Hills East 1. 16-point lead, 4th quarter. Those are games you're supposed to close out. They didn't do that. They lost in overtime. But it's that response from adversity. You know, you always hear coaches say teams only get better when they get uncomfortable, and that was certainly the situation for the Marauders, and they've bounced back in a big way.
And they have the ball out of the timeout, up by 8. Stripped. Here comes Darius Young. Young unabated to the basket.
Number 30, Darius Young.
13 for Darius Young. He and Jose Rivera going tit for tat. Westbury, some more pressure. It's Young at the top, underneath. Dean, lefty finish. Believe it or not, the first field goal of the game for Jonathan Dean. And another turnover. Dean underneath, up and under. This one will hang on, but fall off. Young battling for it, and a jump ball. And that is the danger of Westbury. They can put some points on in a hurry, much like we saw Elmont do in the first game, is flip on that defensive intensity. Into Dean, little trouble with it. Ball to the floor, Rivera's got it. There's Jose Rivera, 3-pointer. Long rebound ripped down by Dean. Pass ahead, but right to the Westbury bench. And a look to Dave Graff, says just slow it down, slow it down. .220 to go in the third quarter. Bayshore a 4-point advantage, but it was 10 a moment ago. As Montgomery has had a quiet second half after a big first one. Left side 3 is good for Darian Walcott. 38-31, Bayshore on top. Dean, offensive foul. 3rd personal against Jonathan Dean. And we might see him come out.
And foul is on number 3, Jonathan Dean. That is his 3rd.
So they elect to leave him in with 1:54 to go in the third.
We saw that come back and hurt Elmont earlier with Casey and Defo.
He ended up fouling out pretty early in the game. Put back good for Rivera. Andrew Rivera, dedicated, stuck with it. I say on the floor, no continuation for Brandon Otley.
The foul is on number 3, Kyrie Sawyer. That is his first, team's 3rd.
Yeah, and that one with Rivera, he looked like he was playing that game, or that drill, where you see basketball players just put it off the backboard and just continually.
And you got that triple jump speed again. That fast twitch muscle, another 3-pointer. Misfires, and Ketchin's got it. Ketchin looking up ahead, behind the back pass, but a little too out of control. And he's called for a foul, his 3rd.
And Darius Young was on the right elbow, just begging for the ball. And
that will put Bayshore in the bonus on the next
Yeah.
Westbury foul. And we're still only in the third quarter. Right side on the baseline, it's Haskins. Up top for Montgomery. Down low, Rivera's finds it. So that 6-0 run by Westbury negated as Bayshore an 11-point advantage.
16 now for Rivera.
Young pops a three, it's good.
Number 30, Darius Young.
Darius Young matching a game-high 16 with Jose Rivera. Lead is 8, shot clock is off for the third. There's Angel Rivera. Inside and contact. It's going against Michael Bethia.
So 2 free throws for Rivera.
That is his first team's 7.
And Rivera
2 from the 5, Angel Rivera.
has had his struggles from the line today, just 1 of 4.
That means the game for Westbury is number 10, Pascal Harris. Who places number 30, Darius Young.
That's a good finisher around the rim. We've seen that in this third quarter. (43-34), Bayshore on top. Waning seconds of the third. Pull up from Dunlap, too strong. Rebound by Jose, out to Angel Rivera, lays it up and in just before the horn sounds. 8 points for Angel Rivera, all coming in that quarter. And Bayshore extends the lead to 11 after 3. It's 45-34 as we head to the fourth.
The love, yeah, it's in our souls. The passion, it's in the cheers. And in that pivotal moment, we live and die with every pass, block, steal, and game-winning dunk. And we wouldn't want it any other way. Don't miss a minute. Download the News 12 Varsity app today.
Start of the fourth quarter, and Bayshore has gotten stronger as this game has gone on, taking a 45-34 lead over Westbury. Not dissimilar to what they did earlier this week against Half Hollow Hills East. Taking a third quarter deficit and going ahead 11 late in that game. And Bayshore starting with the ball, missing on their first shot attempt of the fourth quarter.
Will be Westbury's all.
Westbury will have it, and we'll say if they have a run in them. Turnover. Rivera across the lane to Sawyer, who scoops it up and in.
You can see Bayshore doubling the ball when it gets right past midcourt, and it's resulted in some turnovers and some points in transition.
Here's Walcott. Rivera, long two-pointer. No good. Jose getting the rebound. Back out to Angel. Kick it to Jose. Jose, jab step. Now drives, puts it on the deck, draws contact, and he'll go to the line for 2.
You just get the feeling like if those two dudes are in the playground, how tough a 2-on-2 game that is to play the Rivera boys.
Because of good size. It's 6'2".
Yep.
They can shoot outside. They can finish inside. And it's Jose Rivera who's led the way today. Now 17 points for Bayshore. Team leader in three-pointers made. He worked a lot on that in the offseason. Another steal. The ref got in the way. Rivera doesn't matter. Knocked out of bounds to Bayshore. Might have been Westbury, and I think the official will say Bayshore either way. I hope Bob Sorosky's okay, though. That was a blindside hit. Inbounded, lot of contact, no call as both players hit the deck. Andrew Rivera laying it in. Westbury the other way.
Yeah, Young getting ahead of the field for the layup.
Minute and a half gone in this fourth quarter, 51-36. Sawyer lost his handle.
Oh, he was fortunate. It ended up being a kick ball. Oh, they call a timeout? Yeah, it was a kick ball.
That's about as lucky as you can get in that position.
Yeah.
Well, if Hills East sent a message against Elmont earlier, I think Bayshore is sending one equally as loud across Suffolk County. There's Rivera's long two. Being Ace has got the rebound. Right side corner three-pointer. Foul on the loose ball going against Westbury.
Fouls on number 24, Isaiah Williams. That is his fourth.
And timeout by Bayshore.
Full timeout.
Some good hoops for you coming up over the course of the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Of course, the last game of the Lou High Invitational at 4 o'clock on the boys' side. There's a girls' game at 6 as well. The boys' side will be Lou High against Curtis. And then we'll have the Crusaders on News 12 Varsity tomorrow as well from Adelphi University, and a little makeup of that Empire Classic where they will play Bishop Laughlin. And both those games can be seen right here.
That's going to be a fun game as well. It's always fun, I think, when Lou High plays some of those city schools and back-to-back days now. And their week started really positively with a trip up to New Rochelle to beat an Iona Prep team that in that crazy, crazy Catholic League is right there, it seems like, with everybody else.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like that midterm exam for the Crusaders now. If you can get a win over Curtis, maybe even get one against Bishop Laughlin, you're suited up really, really well. I know on Huddle Up with Amanda Puglisi, I kind of, of course I'm put to the test. I have to give a prediction, and I kind of thought that maybe Lou High would split these games this weekend. Which again, I don't know if that's even that so bad. I mean, of course,
No.
John Buck wants to win every game, but then you go 2-1 in a week where you play two other teams that are in the Tri-State top 20.
I mean, obviously Laughlin in the conversation for city championship.
Yeah.
Catholic League.
And there's a
Curtis
lot. That's
might be in the PSAL.
for sure.
And we're getting to that time of year as well. As the calendar turns to February and look towards playoffs. 1-1 chance for Levon Montgomery. First is good. Montgomery had that strong first quarter, 7 points, all coming in the first. And that's his first point since the first. And some Division III interest. Bayshore getting it back. Turnaround jumper from Angel Rivera. Long pass. Young has to catch up to it. He does. Towards the basket for Dean, who's got it in transition. Bayshore again, maybe a little forced shot. Montgomery's got it. Turnaround off the front of the iron. Dean last to touch out of bounds. Some frustration from the Westbury side.
And I agree with you. I'm not in love with some of the shot selections now for Bayshore.
And Walcott will try a three. Montgomery, another offensive board, gets it away to Jose Rivera. And a 3-second violation will be called on Bayshore.
Well, that's rare. I thought maybe it might have been a travel on Rivera, but you're right, 3 seconds is the call. And again, if you're the Marauders, you know, you're letting Westbury back in this game. And they're so explosive. They can put up points in a hurry.
There you go, be an ace.
That was number 24, Isaiah Sage.
Deficit is 12 right now for Westbury.
And again, not to harp on a bad memory for the Marauders, but that first Hills East game, you're up 16 and you lose in overtime. That's not the way you close it out. They closed it out much better against Hills East the second time, but they're showing some cracks in the armor here in the fourth.
That's was on number 4, Jose Rivera. That is his third team's 4.
Well, with that being said, still 12-point advantage. Guys collide near midcourt. Westbury was trying to set a pick, and the Bayshore player, I think it was Kyrie Sawyer, came up high with his hands. In football, that would be illegal hands to the face. Otley in some trouble. Gets it away. Dean on the weak side. A 10-point lead now. Closest Westbury's been in some time. Inside to a cutting Angel Rivera. Blocked, but a foul. And Westbury's got to be careful, otherwise there were a few players who could have potentially gotten in technical.
I think 4 players ran away from the ball. Another went to hide in the corner.
And that's the 10th team foul against Westbury. Not only that, Khalid Ketchin picks up his 4th foul. Because Westbury is not incredibly deep. They only go about 7 players deep, sometimes 8. So if they're in double-figure fouls, it's a good bet that somebody is in foul trouble.
$12 now for Rivera.
And all of them coming in the second half. Turnover Westbury.
I'll tell you what, a lot of contact there by Rivera. Could have been over the back. Not called, and now the full court pressure has to come in. Results in a turnover.
As Walcott took too many steps.
Yeah. So by necessity, the Green Dragons going full court press.
And they created some offense out of it a couple moments ago. Young, 3, in and out. Rivera's got it, lost it. Dean to the cup.
Number 3, Jonathan Dean.
Well, suddenly he's come alive offensively.
Sawyer with pace, tough shot. Montgomery's got the rebound, backs it out to Sawyer. Up top, Rivera finding it on the blocks for his brother Jose, and Bayshore will wisely reset.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's the hurry here? You're up 10, under 4 to go. You need to use that shot clock to your advantage.
Defense chant coming from the Westbury fans in attendance. Right side, Angel Rivera. In and out. Montgomery, though, fighting for that. A jump ball to Westbury.
Jump ball.
And that was a good, even jump ball by Montgomery because he had no positioning and snuck his way in to steal that rebound.
Now Bayshore showing the full court pressure.
Brendan Otley, the point guard, bringing it up. 3:10 to play. Knocked away. Rivera's got the steal. Here comes Bayshore and Rivera. Righty scoop goes in. Bayshore timeout as Rivera went end to end. He's now got 20 on the day.
I think that there is not an actual timeout.
There's still timeout.
Did he not call it?
I think they maybe anticipated or thought they heard it and it wasn't given.
All right. Under 3 to play in a 12-point game. Bayshore trying to extend their winning streak to 9.
Number 3, Jonathan Dean.
Dean, as you mentioned, has come alive in this fourth quarter. Is 12 points on the game now. Rivera, Montgomery. Montgomery reverse. Not enough on it. Rivera trying to bat at it a couple times, and Westbury's got the board. Young, almost a backcourt violation. Right side, corner 3 for Young. It's good. Cuts the deficit to 7, and now we had a timeout, yes or no? I think Young made a hand gesture, like a diamond over his head.
But now they'll take it.
And the official thought he had called a timeout. So then Dave Kraft, thinking that Bayshore had called a timeout, brought everybody over. And now Dave Kraft does take the timeout with 2:21 to go. So this comeback, if you could call it that, they've cut the deficit to 7. It's been led by their 2 big guys, John Dean and Darius Young.
Yeah, as we were wondering kind of when Dean would get going, and he has done that late now with 12 points, and Young, again, always a threat from the outside. He's got 21. He's got the Westbury fans dancing a little bit. And will they complete this comeback is the question. And of course, again, if you're CJ Lear, you've got to be telling your guys, we have to be more patient offensively. Of course, Westbury's going to bring the pressure, but don't then be forced to get up and down and take quick shots.
The players-wise, it almost seems like they're trying to match the pace of Westbury, where they don't need to.
No.
So 2:20 to go in the game, 7-point contest.
That's much, much better.
There's Rivera, good touch. 22 for Jose Rivera now.
Yeah, he just knifed through that Westbury defense.
But a Bayshore foul.
The foul is on number 3, Kyrie. This is his 3rd, team 6.
Montgomery will check out. Darian Walcott returning.
Haskins and number 10, Anthony Simpson.
And Anthony Simpson back in as well. That his coach describes the physical, nasty, in-your-face defenders, so that's the kind of guy you want on the floor right now. Dean, tough fall-away shot. Rivera altered it by going way up in the air. Rivera, kick out. Walcott for 3. That won't go. Be an ace. Has got it. Baseball pass down the length of the floor for Young. Young, step back. Tough fall away. 3, it's in.
Number 30, Darius Young.
And again, confusion over he's saying it's a 3. That's not a timeout gesture.
I mean, it's going over his head. It's pretty clear. It's like the diamond from Diamond Dallas Page. That's what it looks like. Or who were the guys on the Clippers back in the day that used to tap the head after they made the three? Like Elton Brand and that crew. Oh, contact. And Walcott is down. He is banged up. Tough shot, won't go, but a foul. And Walcott got an elbow or a shoulder from, I think it was B&H, who was making a play on the ball and bumped him. But that's as much of a blindside hit as you will see on the basketball court.
And now this should be 3 free throws.
Yes, it is. Enough to make things interesting here. And oftentimes, I would even argue that you would see that whistled as a foul down this end of the floor, where Walcott caught the worst of that. So insult to injury, literally, as Darius Young, then the other end, got fouled. So he's on the line for 3 free throws. Already 24 points today, including a wild rainbow 3 a moment ago. Captain on this team because of his leadership abilities. Again, he was the Conference Player of the Year last year, an all-county football player as a wide receiver this year for Westbury. And trying to complete all 3, missing on the last one. But still has his team back in arm's length. Just a 4-point deficit with 70 seconds left. Timeout, Bayshore.
What a great second game here at the 3rd annual Lehigh Invitational.
Well, you look at the lead, it was 12 with 4:23 left. Actually, it was 12 with 3 minutes left on the layup by Rivera. And then since that point, Westbury has roared back, led by Young.
Darius Young with 26 points today. And this is how good of an athlete he is. He may play either football or basketball in college. Not sure where he wants to pursue yet.
Might play both.
Might play both. But that is not his concentration right now. Trying to will his team back from down 12 in the 4th quarter. Only 1 loss on the season to a Floral Park team that might be in the conversation for an A title in Nassau County.
So the lead is 4 for Bayshore. A lot of time left, 67 seconds. They need to stop here, and they're right where they want to be.
There's Anthony Simpson, 5-second violation on Bayshore.
Well, that's about as perfect a scenario, because one, no time goes off the clock, and you get the ball back in their side of the court.
Gene inbounds to Brandon Otley.
It's got to come to Young.
It is Young. Young off a curl, another tough fall away 3, no good. Otley's got the rebound. Otley driving to the basket, offensive foul. I know Young has made some tough shots today, but can't keep going to that well. Try and settle your feet a little more. Rivera double teamed. Able to get it up to Jose. Jose Rivera driving quickly to the basket in. 24 points for Jose Rivera. Dean, catch and fire 3. They inadvertently put the 3 on the wrong side of the scoreboard. That's where the jeers were coming from. So it should be 60-57. Right now the scoreboard here is reading 63-54. And everybody on the Westbury bench knows about it.
Correct. Don't worry. We will get the score correct.
27 points for Young.
Is that better?
And 16 for Jonathan Dean after that three-pointer.
Now 1/10 of a second, and again, I think the way Bayshore is playing, they don't even look at the shot clock, they just go. But there is 1/10 of a second difference between the game and the shot clock.
Again, immediately after this game,
But I really feel like it's not even a situation if you're Westbury, it sounds strange to say it, but I don't think you even really need the foul. You know, play defense, and then if you see Bayshore slowing it down, then go to foul. But again, they've gone 100 miles an hour, really from start to finish. They haven't really slowed the game down, and you just got a 5-second violation a moment ago.
As well as that they'll be pressuring the ball, so they want to let that play out. Had Rivera almost went out of bounds. Had to use all of his 6'2" to get that. Now we'll have a foul on Westbury against Darius Young.
foul is on number 30, Darius Young. That is his second. He is in the bonus.
So double bonus, 2 free throws coming up for Jose Rivera, who's been as big as they are for Bayshore. 24 points today.
Collection 2 is number
He's only had 2 free throws, but he's made both of them. Leaving the door open for Westbury. Savion Haskins coming in place of Kyrie Sawyer. Second free throw for Rivera. He missed on both, out of bounds to Westbury.
Westbury ball.
So some mental miscues for the Marauders in the last few moments. The 5-second violation, 2 missed free throws. And with 22 seconds left, Westbury a chance to tie it. Turned over by Young. Rivera's got it, and he's fouled.
I'm not even sure if the ball got into Young's hands because Rivera came in with the steal. A huge, potentially a huge play.
In the bonus.
If he makes these free throws, that is.
Shooting 2 is number 5.
Meanwhile, much
Angel Rivera.
like Jose Rivera had not missed, Angel Rivera has struggled at times from the line tonight. Just 4 of 8
Timeout. Bayshore.
on the afternoon, and timeout taken by Bayshore. Well, this Bayshore team, they've not won a league title in 9 years, which is the longest stretch in school history. They've got 38 league titles overall for a program in Suffolk County that for a long time was among the elite. And they've seen that title overtaken in years past by the Brentwoods, the Hills Wests.
Yeah.
You could throw maybe Deer Park in that mix.
Yep.
So Bayshore trying to reclaim some of the prestige and some of the honor that the program has had over the years. And C.J. Leary in his second year, when he saw all the juniors that were in the room, he said to them, it's going to be an 18-month process. When you guys are seniors, we are going to be in the mix. That's where we want to be. And that is born to fruition to this point. And right now trying to finish off Westbury and win their 9th consecutive game as they try and close the season with a league title. And Westbury and Curtis to play right after this, and it's Angel Rivera to the line.
Massive one there. That first one is so important.
Especially making it a 4-point game. Hits both. Westbury, Dean's gonna fire a 3. No good, Rivera's got it, and he's fouled. So Jose Rivera, who's been the catalyst all game long, a chance to close it out. As Jonathan Dean just fouling out of the game. And Jose Rivera, who missed a couple a moment ago, a chance to finish it off.
His 25th point, make it 26.
Young, his three-pointer hits a stanchion up top. He's had some high arcers, but that would win you a trick shot competition.
He's asking the ref, he said it tipped.
Nobody shoots straight up, right? Nobody shoots that tip the ball.
1.3 seconds left. And the final horn will sound. So Bayshore's strong week continues. It started with a win over Hills East, and it continues today. A 7-point win over Westbury.
And Jose Rivera all over this one, a huge performance. Also, Angel Rivera was big down the stretch for Bayshore. Big win for the Marauders, and maybe round 1 of 2 this year between these two teams.
Rivera brothers, as you said, led the way. Angel Rivera had a humongous second half with 14 points. And Bayshore moves to 9 in a row and 14-2 on the season, handing Westbury just their second loss of the year. We'll be back in a moment to close it out from Long Island Lutheran.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
64-57, your final score. Matt Short is back at Long Island Lutheran, and 26 points tonight for you. What was the big difference in that fourth quarter for you guys as Westbury started to make a run that you were able to kind of keep them at bay?
That's pretty much what we are. We come clutch in like close games, and pretty much it was just a team effort.
And earlier this week, the win over Hills East, those sorts of games, how much do you guys take from these as you're now getting ready for postseason play?
These are definitely playoff teams, so playing against them definitely gets us like ready for the playoffs and like competition pretty much.
And I know Coach talked about this week being a big week for you guys, potential to have your first league title in 9 seasons. So how much has that been on your mind since you guys have been playing this week?
Definitely makes us work harder. Like, we need these wins. We didn't really need this win, but it definitely helps us in like our confidence, so we could go into our league and just keep on winning.
And then your brother had the first half where he was in foul trouble. For you, being able to see him play like that in the second half, what's that like?
I just pretty much feed off his energy. If he's doing good, pretty much the whole team's doing good, and it's definitely like it gives us a boost.
I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jose Rivera with 26 points again in the winning effort for Bayshore as they win their 9th consecutive game today with the win over Westbury. That'll do it for everybody involved in our broadcast. For our producer Tom Schnars and Dylan Butler, I'm Matt Short saying so long, and we'll catch you next time on News 12 Varsity.